What's up, Chicken Nuggets? Tyler here with Tarver Cards, and this is the Sports Cards Are Dope podcast. A lot of labels at the beginning. This episode, we're talking about the Luca Doncic trade. Did the Mavs fumble the bag? Spoiler alert, absolutely they did. Gosh, this was the biggest trade in the history of sports, right? I mean, name one in the comments. Name a trade that was bigger than this in all of sports. I know it's the biggest NBA trade. It is. I heard somebody say the other day, because I have consumed more podcasts and more information about this than any human should. They said this is the first time in NBA history two all NBA players were traded for each other mid-season. If you have been living under like a rock, underneath a rock, underneath a mine, Luca Doncic was traded for Anthony Davis, I think Max Christie, and a first-round pick, okay? Like, some people were like, well, this is a big trade. This is since what is it, the Nets traded for Kevin Garnett on his reunion tour, on his retirement tour. Like, this is big. Well, I guess that worked out because they traded a bunch of stuff for Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and ended up getting Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, a bunch of other people, and they won a championship out of it. So I guess that's it. But only time will tell if this was good or bad for this. So I think we've all heard the takes up to this point, and my thoughts for this, the value I added in this is because I've listened to all these different people and all these different things about the trade. I want to give you my three thoughts on, like, I'm a big empathy guy. I try to understand people's perspectives. I think there's three big reasons the Mavs did this, or three things that led to the Mavs doing this. Okay, so Nico Harris, I think is his name, the GM of the Mavs, trying to enter his mind. Okay, we're trying to being John Malkovich this dude and try to figure out why he would trade a generational talent. One of the three players in the league right now that has a potential, besides LeBron, that has potential of going down as a top 5 to 10 player of all time. Like, has that ability. He's 25. Oh, okay. So, in the short term, my thoughts, if I'm just going to kind of tease it, my thoughts are this could work for Dallas in the short term, and I could see, like, my greatest fear is that they win a championship in the next year or two, which is kind of their timeline. And then he's like, see, I told you so. But honestly, the win for this, who won this trade, obviously like any trade, the win for this is going to be 10-year when Anthony Davis is no longer a Mav and whenever Luca Doncic is no longer a Laker, who has come out with more championships. So I think personally in the short term, I think it'd be hard to argue, like, the Lakers are kind of like stuck in the middle. So yes, it gives AD a chance to win another championship. It gives the Mavs a chance, which they went to the NBA Finals last year. It's absolutely absurd. They went to the finals last year on the back of Luka's offense, okay? And you're like, oh, he didn't play defense in the finals. Yeah, but you're not there without him. You're not there without him. He carried you to the point where he can barely stand up after he falls down on defense. And that's because he's been carrying the team every single round, okay? So who's going to win this trade? Here, I'm going to just jump into it. This is the three reasons why I think, based on every press report, every story, everything I can gather from people who I don't have any GM cell phone numbers. If I did, I'd tell the dude who runs the Warriors to trade Draymond to the Wizards for Jordan Poole straight up. I don't have any GMs, but from people I've listened to who do have text messages from GMs, and based on what I've seen and reading through the lines of what this dude is saying, what Nico Harrison said in his press conference where he looked like Jason Kidd was being held hostage. Like, I was like, blink twice, Jason Kidd, if you need out. He's like, can I go back to the Lakers, please? All right. I think number one, it comes down to three things that Luka has either done or not done that bothered the Mavs to the point where they were okay letting go of this talent. Okay. Number one, the coming in shape problem. Okay. The Mavs have been asking him. The narrative is they want Luka to come into the season ready to go. They don't want him to be out of shape. He's gotten up to 270 pounds. My favorite quote from everything I've seen, it was on Bill Simmons. Bill Simmons had Ryan Russillo on his podcast, and they're sitting there talking, and they're like, what about the $345 million extension they're going to have to give him? Like, the Mavs are looking at $345 million because he's eligible for the Supermax. Like, they have to make the decision to give him that. And Russillo looked like he was dazed because he was like, I can't believe it's happened. He came out of it, he goes, I don't care if he weighs 300 pounds and he dribbles the ball up the court with a cigarette in his mouth. I'm giving him the super max. And I was like, that is the best quote about this. First off, don't smoke cigarettes, okay? They're not good for you. Don't vape. It's disgusting. I had a dude, I was on the treadmill yesterday, and some dude came up and he was like wearing like cargo pants, boots, and he smelled like he got on the treadmill next to me. It's like he walked up to the urinal out of 3. He walked to the middle urinal. That's what he is. He's got in the middle treadmill, and I'm on the treadmill, and the dude smelled like he had been smoking a body odor vape for 24 hours to try to break a world record. And so that was fun. So I only got a couple miles in. That's a side note. Don't smoke, don't vape. But it's like anybody in their right mind would extend this dude. They've extended far worse players on contracts similar to this. Like, that's just what contracts are going to be. I know it's a big number, but like Jaylen Brown had the biggest contract in history. And then guess what? Tatum had it. Like, it's going to keep going up. We are going to see it going, which it should. The players should be paid more. Well, the players shouldn't be paid that much. The owners get the rest. Like, I can't name 3 owners' names. Like, who cares? Like, we watch because of the players. If all the players in the league went and started a league called like the Hoopers International League or Big Baller Brand, we're going to watch that league because those are the players we like, okay? And the NBA's brand is built off of the players. It's one of the, in my opinion, it's one of the best organizations at branding around players, which has pros and cons, but it's the reason I watch the NBA because I like the storyline better than a bunch of no-name football players who wear helmets, you can't see their personality or they get in trouble. So I did like, was it Jalen Daniels? You know, he did my boy Jared McCain's dance after he scored a touchdown. So shout out Jalen Daniels, big time listener of the pod. So it's back to number one. Rule number one. Sorry, I get a little distracted. I'm sorry. This is so much. Come into shape. He's always saying he's going to come into shape into the season, and he didn't. Okay. The thought is, I can see from an organizational standpoint, you're asking this person to do something that, you know, it leads to injuries. It leads to, you know, he's out of shape. He can't get up as fast to get on defense. So now we're playing 4-on-5. Like, I get it. But here's the thing. When you have a player who does not have to be in shape to dominate 99% of the league, Jokic looks like a UPS driver, and he still dominates the entire league. The fact that he doesn't need his athletic ability and he can still do anything he wants on the court. He's still, like what JJ Redick said on his podcast like a year ago, the 3 people who are basketball geniuses who you cannot double team, you have to double team, but you can't because they're geniuses with the ball, is LeBron James, obviously, James Harden, and Luca Doncic. And now you have 2 of the 3 of those on your team. All 3 are in the same city, but 2 of the 3 are on the same team, which I don't talk about this later, but I want to point this out. I think it was on the mismatch, which I love Chris Vernon, but Jacoby, who's new co-host because Kevin O'Connor left, he just has some really terrible takes. And he's like, Luka and LeBron run the same position. Here's the deal. LeBron can't put the ball in his hands and orchestrate the offense the entire game. He's 48 million years old, okay? I say that. He graduated high school the same year as me. He's too old to do whatever. He's already been handing it off to Austin Reeves a lot. You've just upgraded from Austin Reeves to Luca Doncic. So now they can split those. They can take off a couple plays. Like, you don't have to rely on one dude to do it. And you've got the same player. Like, it's just absolutely incredible. On the same thing with this, my rebuttal to this out of shape thing, I think Luka going to the Lakers is the best thing that could have ever happened with regards to the be in shape situation. LeBron James tells the story. We saw it on the documentary, The Redeem Team. He was talking about how him and Carmelo and D-Wade like went out to the club, and they're coming in at like 3 or 4 a.m. at the Olympics, and they see Kobe walking in drenched in sweat because he's already done a workout at 4 or 5 a.m. Like, this dude, they saw Kobe's work ethic, and LeBron was like, that's when I knew I had to change. And now LeBron's even said, when I retire, I'll still work out every day. It's become a part of who he is, and it's the reason he is literally 40 years old. He's pulling in his 401k already, and he's still dominating the league. And so I think that Luka being able to see what it takes to have longevity in this league and seeing that from LeBron, like his admitted favorite player growing up, he idolizes LeBron. They have similar games. Seeing how LeBron does it, that is going to be the best thing for Luka. And obviously he's going to be on Revenge Tour 2025 because they said coming into shape was one of the issues. You know he's going to get into shape. He's going to look up and be like, dude, it's easy. I have not played basketball games in 2 months. Of course, I've gained 10, 15 pounds. But I think it bothered the Mavs that they keep asking him to do it. And from their perspective, he's not teachable. He's not doing what he takes to win. They don't see that. The problem is he still wins. Even when he doesn't, okay? He's dominating the league with a freaking dad bod of Slovenian pastries and Mountain Dew. He's still dominating the league, and you're letting him go. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. You're like, how much money do they pay dietitians and trainers? Like, just find the right one that Luka will connect with and listen to and then get in the habit. Whatevs. Okay. Number two. The number two reason I think the Mavs let Luka go is the he didn't play defense excuse, okay? Dallas gets frustrated that Luka, he's not playing D. He sometimes just swiping at the ball. He's like the annoying dude at your LA Fitness that lets him go by, but then like hits it from behind and tries to pop it out of their hands, okay? It works 1 out of 50 times. When it does, he's like, see, it worked. I get it, okay? I get it. But that is not new for the person carrying the offensive burden. Okay, Steph Curry, even LeBron James, like they are not known for playing like awesome defense all the time. He can when he has to, but he's not going to waste as much energy on defense doing it because of offense, okay? That's not why you have him on the team. And they kept saying in the presser, Nico said, we're defensive mind. And AD is an amazing defensive player. But you're trading a great defensive player for one of the greatest generational offensive players in the league. Offense is more important. Defense, as somebody who literally couldn't hit a jumper in high school, and so I literally would just pass to the tall guy on our team and then drive and play defense. That was my thing, was defense. I love defense. I'm still smart enough to know you usually, except for if the 2004 Pistons, you don't win the finals without a generational offensive player on your team. That's how you win. Luka dragged them there like he's winning beast games and he's tug-of-warring an entire team. Okay? He's doing everything in there, all right? And the third thing that I think that frustrated Dallas was how much he complains to the refs. They didn't mention this a lot. It came out in a couple of releases. They asked him, and I think this is what bothered him more than him complaining to the refs. They asked him to stop because it was a problem, because he would fall down on defense, complain to the refs, and they're running back, and he's not down there. I think that bothered him. He complains too much on defense, okay? LeBron does it. CP3 does it. You've all seen the clip. Michael Jordan did. He mentally destroyed referees like he's trying to beat him in Quiz Bowl. Like, every great player does it. Yes, does Luka do it to where it annoys me? Yes. It doesn't, if you're watching on YouTube, like, one of the things that bothers me the most about Jokic is that when he's upset, he does this thing. He does like this inward T-Rex arm thing. And Luka's kind of got on that. Like, I get it. I get that it's frustrating, and I get that Dallas tried to get him to get better at it. Here's my rebuttal. He's 25 years old. He's 25 years old. You just traded. I saw a meme somebody put out there. I think I posted on I'm going to just turn my Instagram into a meme account for basketball. They said, you're worried about a player who's injured because he's out of shape, and you traded him for a player who is notoriously injured throughout his career. Yes, the last 2 years, year and a half, 2 years, he's been healthy. Great. I love it for Anthony Davis. I like that he's breaking through that. But he had that stigma for a reason, okay? If my greatest problem with a player is not that he can get the ball in the right player's hands, that he can control an offense, that he can drag a team to the Western Conference Finals, the finals. He outscored Phoenix. I think it was the year after Phoenix went to the finals. He almost outscored Phoenix by himself in the first half. It's absolutely insane. If you want to chalk that up to not coachable, not teachable, there's something going on because Luka said he wanted to stay there. You have a player who wants to stay in a small market team, and you are throwing that away for a player who just wants to win. Guess what AD's going to do in a year or two if they're not competing for championships? He's going to want to go somewhere else. Guess what, Kyrie? Go somewhere else. They're not Dallas did not draft them. They are going to go where they can win. Okay? Do I like, personally, short-term, long-term impact? I like Kyrie and AD together. Yeah, Kyrie, AD, and even Clay when he's on. Like, I think it's great. But you're trading 10 years of a player who has the chance to be a top 5 player of all time. All time. His numbers in the first, he's what, all NBA, 5 of his first 6 years. He has numbers that we haven't seen since LeBron freaking James. And we are trading him for who was the second best player on the 2020 championship. I get that he's the best player on the Lakers now, but it's give or take with him and a 40-year-old player, all right? AD is a great player. He's what? probably top 10, top 12 in the league right now. But Luka is better. Luka is better. I think, I'm going to go back to the people I like. Russillo said it. He's like, I can understand you trade. I can forgive you for trading for a player you want to win now. I get all that. What I can't forgive is that you didn't contact any other teams. I saw a rumor going around that they did contact one other team and they rejected it. I also heard from somebody who has a podcast who's notable. They said a GM reached out and said that if that GM would have known Luka was on the table, they would have traded an all-star caliber player that they have, 2 great young players, and given them 3 or 4 first-round picks. You traded it for a 31-year-old AD who's 6 years older than Luka, Max Christie, okay, you're like, who's Max Christie? Exactly. And a first-round pick. That's it. 1 first-round pick. Absolutely insane. Absolutely. I can see Rob Pelinka's just sitting there like covering the phone like, are you serious, guys? We're about to get this. Like, I cannot fathom him laughing at Nico Harrison and what he just pulled off. Literally their post after. When you make a trade that people initially think the NBA Insider was hacked, that's how crazy the trade was. That's not a good sign. You may be right, but the percent chance you're right is very slim. Like, it's the amount of like, oh, Tyler from Tarver Cards, he might go play wide receiver for Ohio State. Yeah, I still got 4 years of eligibility. Not bad at flag football, but it's probs not going to happen. Is this going to be the best? If the Mavericks win and Luka meets their concerns and never stays healthy and stays out of shape and doesn't kick it in, which I think the level competitor he is, I think that is highly unlikely. I just think it is a level of blindness from that organization that they're just like, they want to win now. And they're trading the next decade for 1 to 2 years. And the thing is, like, you weren't losing in the first round. You made it to the finals with the dude. I just can't. It's like literally making me lightheaded how absurd this was. It's a franchise-changing decision. You traded a franchise player for a couple years shot at the title. And it's like we're watching Luka go to the Lakers. The Lakers get handed another superstar. I saw a stat the other day that they have not, there was only, since the beginning of the league, I think there was only like a 2 to 3 year time period where the Lakers did not have a top 10 NBA player in there. And I think that's top 10 all time. Maybe it's top 10. It might be top 10 in the league. No, it's a top 10 player all time that they didn't have him on their league. I don't know if it's true. You can fact check me. You said there'd be no fact checking. Whatever. You're trading over the next 10 years. The Lakers are going, in my opinion, they're probably going to win at least a couple more titles. I think it might extend LeBron's career. He can now split the offensive load with Luka, and they wouldn't be losing that much, if not gaining, probably, what he brings to the table. They're going to build around Luka. It sounds like Clutch Sports, especially with this happening with AD, LeBron not knowing, which I genuinely don't believe LeBron knew about it. Them trading them out, I think this means they're out of the Clutch Sports makes our decisions, which I don't think they did. I think they probably pressured him. But it sounds like, the Lakers have been making the decisions they need. I think they like LeBron, but I don't think they're letting him make decisions. And I think LeBron hasn't had that, from what I've heard from people I trust. I don't think he's had that level of influence. And if you're just like, oh, lead GM, like, chill out. Like, yes, he's probably pushed organizations. How's that worked out? He's won organizations with all 3 of the franchises he's gone to. So maybe listen to him a little bit. Yeah, you'll get a little Russell Westbrook in there, but it's going to work out, okay? So now you're like, Tyler, is this a sports are dope podcast or sports cards are dope podcast, okay? It's sports cards are dope. Thank you. Like, subscribe, rate us, review us. But here's how we relate it to sports cards. How does this affect Luka's card market? What have we seen in the past 3 days? We have seen immediate spikes in prices over the last few days. Luka moving to LA has already made his cards jump. His Prism PSA 10 Silver jumped from $1,000 pre-trade to $1,900 is what it's going for. I had a Luka Silver. I traded it for an SGC 10 Otani. I traded it straight up for it. I had a Luka Silver Prism PSA 9, and I think I sold it at the Nash for like $300 or $400 this past year, which is it was going for around $300 to $400. So that was about average for a PSA 9. I saw like the day after the trade, it was the buy it nows for like 625. So I'd have made a couple hundred more if I'd have saved it, 200 to 300 more. But I didn't know it was going to get traded. Like nobody knew it was going to get traded to the Lakers. So don't blame me. But I've got a few more that I think a couple are still sitting on there. But that card, I've had it listed to buy it now for no. Sorry. It's sold at the National. I also had a base Luka Prism PSA 10 that I bought after tax for like $470 a year or two ago, a couple years ago. It's dropped. It was going for like a little over $200. I had it sitting at I had it sitting high as a buy it now on eBay for like $300. It was sold the next morning. Buy it now. They just paid $300, shipped it out. So I lost a little bit on it, but I got it for like $100, sold it for $100 more than they've been selling for. I'm about to throw, I've got 2 or 3 more. 2 are listed. I'm going to toss this right here. I don't know if you can see if you're on the YouTube. It is a PSA 9. I got this graded myself of the Luka rookie. I love this rookie, so I thought about keeping it and just keeping one Luka rookie, but I think I'm going to sell it because I think of the spike, and then I'm going to try to buy in and get like an auto or something. So I'm going to get that, toss it on, start bids at $1, see if you do whatever you want with your cards, but that's what I'm going to do. See what happens. Make them like $100 or $200 if I can off that. Maybe even toss. I got 2 more PSA 10 rookies of Luka. Might toss some of them into a repack. So link in profile. I don't know. But what does this look like for his short-term and long-term with his cards? I'd be careful with regards to going in and buying now because we are seeing a hype. I think it'll keep going up whenever he gets to play and he just does incredible. People are going to get hyped and they're going to keep buying it. I think it's going to rise for a while, but I think it's personally, I'm guessing at some point it's going to taper off unless they win the next like 3 championships. I think that it's going to, I think we've even seen a spike in LeBron James cards. His like downtowns, I think they'll still sell well, but I don't think you're going to see as much of a Lakers premium over the next year or two. So now might be the time to sell those because it's got a bunch of like, cowboy stuff and wagons in the background because it's Dallas. So I don't think it's going to matter much. Like Shea's rookies, he's in a Clippers uniform. His stuff still sells pretty well. Players that get traded off, like LeBron's in the Cavs and he plays for the Lakers. Like, I don't think it's going to impact too much, but for those non-rookies where it's a Dallas-oriented card, maybe it is time to bounce that out. So his base Prism PSA 10, that one that I sold, it's not that rare. There's over like 30,000 of those graded. That's why I didn't mind getting rid of it. I thought about keeping it because I want an iconic card, which I gave away. In a giveaway I did on the Whatnot Card Show, I bought a Luka rookie. I think it was an 8, and I cracked it, or they cracked it. I don't know, but it was a pink cracked ice, and I got it for like $400. That thing's got to be going for probably $800 to $900 now. But I gave it away to somebody, so congrats to whoever won that in my Whatnot. So what cards should you, in my opinion, should you be targeting if you believe Luka is about to like go nuclear in LA? Bad choice of words. If you think Luka's gonna take off in LA and keep doing well, his 2018 Optic Holo PSA 10, it has a much lower pop than even his Prism Silvers. I think it's around like 360, 365, something like that. If you're wanting his Optic Holo PSA 10, so maybe that's what you go for. The RPAs, National Treasures, those might be out of all of our leagues. I know it's out of mine right now. So low pop cards, on card autos from the premium sets, I think that's always a good one. So it's up to you if you want to go in. I personally am not buying Luka right now. I'm going to wait. At the very least, even if they win a championship, I'll wait until the summer. It'll die. Everything always dies down in the summer, so now's not the time to buy. Now's the time to sell for me. You do what you want, though. Final take on this. Who wins this trade? I'm going to keep it simple. Whoever wins the most championships while AD's there and Luka's in with the Lakers. Now, maybe you could say if they get traded for somebody, you can consider that still part of it because essentially the Lakers traded Brandon Ingram, Lonzo, and Josh Hart to the Pelicans and got Luka out of it. So not too shabby. I think with AD and Dallas, I think if everything breaks right, they could win a couple maybe they have a championship over the next 2 years, but you're really looking at a 2-3 year window. And I think this is a very short-sighted thing. I think the GM at Dallas was frustrated. And I think it's like at work, when you're frustrated about something, you talk to people about your frustrations and they all kind of like, whether they agree or disagree, they're going to like say, oh yeah, I get it. Like Jason Kidd's probably agreed with Nico and been like, yeah, I wish Luka played D, or I wish he'd stop complaining to the refs. I'll keep talking to him about it. But I don't think at any point somebody with as much basketball knowledge as Jason Kidd is going to ever want to trade. I will never believe he want to trade Luka. And after he leaves the Mavs, he'll come out and say, like, yeah, that was dumb. I would have never done that. Even though he sat there just like hat backwards, just looking like you just sold his puppy while he was at work. It's absolutely terrible. Okay, speaking of trades, in the comments, I'd love to know this. If you're on YouTube or if you're on Spotify, let me know of a trade you made that you regret. I think the Mavs are going to regret this. Nico Harrison is also the guy who let Jalen Brunson walk for nothing, and now he's a starter in the All-Star game. He also is the person who fumbled the bag with Steph Curry and didn't see his potential long-term. Maybe this is a running thing, is not seeing the potential in all NBA players. And if that's the case, I think he's done a great job at building, that secondary, tertiary group around a superstar, but maybe he just doesn't recognize the skill. I think he overvalued AD. That's what he did. He overvalues AD. He loves AD. He's worked with AD. He's connected to him. He overvalued AD and undervalued Luka. That's flat out what he did. And if you don't agree with that, congrats. You are in the Venn diagram with Kendrick Perkins. That is the only person I have heard say that the Mavs won this trade. Maybe he's right. Mavs win the championship this year. They win next year. They go back-to-back, and then Luka never gets in shape, and the Lakers never recover. Doubtful, but if he does, good job, Kendrick. Anything else, I'm sure you'll move on to another garbage take. I would love it in the comments. If you're on YouTube or Spotify, let me know of a trade you've made with sports cards that you've regretted. I'll give you mine. I was at the Dallas Card Show, and it was after I wasn't set up there, but then they do a trade night where they bring out tables. They used to do it in the hallway. They don't anymore, of the hotel. And I'm sitting there, I've got my cards, and I had a Tom Brady rookie debut patch. So it wasn't his rookie year, but they called it rookie debut. And so I think it's a patch from his jersey. It was game worn from the first year he played, from his rookie year. And so I think that's what it didn't say that, but that's the best I could guess because it was like an 05, I think. And I had a PSA 10 of it. I graded it myself, got a PSA 10. And I'd taken it to a few shows, and I had it on my table, and I had a price. There was a comp that was like $700 something, so I had it around that comp. Well, then one snuck through on like an auction site for like $200 and something, $150, $200, like really cheap. And I was like, dang, that comp, it just kind of screwed me over with that price range that I'd wanted it to go in. And so I had it sitting, and it didn't sell, and it's like you guys know this. If you have cards and you go to some shows and they just don't get traction, it makes you in your head value it less than it actually is. And then someone came up and they had a couple players I like. I love Kobe. I love Jordan. So they got me a PSA 10 Rare Air Jordan, where he's like holding a baseball bat, wearing like the most 90s Saved by the Bell t-shirt ever. And it's a PSA 10 and then a SGC 95 Kobe rookie. And it's like a $100 card, give or take. And so they valued around a couple hundred, and we traded for it straight up. I regret that trade. Not because I want to keep the Brady. It's because I think the value was way higher than I let it be. And I let the current market dictate what was happening. Luka hasn't played in a couple months. I think him being out of the lineup, him being injured, they want to blame it because you didn't listen to us, because you didn't do this. Nico Harrison undervalued Luka because he'd been sitting there for a while, and he forgot who he really was. And he undervalued him and traded him for something that's not as valuable. Hopefully, if you have a card you know is valuable, you have faith in that you think is going to be better long-term or is worth more than the last comp, don't trade it. It's better to keep it and just hold on to it. If you got I'm not saying like if it's a short spike with a quarterback that just got pulled up, good chance you need to sell that. But I'm talking like Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, Kobe, and that card gets a bad comp. Those are goats, bro. Have faith in what they've done before, just like the Mavs should have had faith in Luca Doncic. Goodness gracious. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I just had to get this out. I literally filmed this the day before I put it out there. I wasn't going to because everybody's talking about it, but I just had to get words out there. And this is why I started this podcast, is I have a place and a community to talk about this stuff. So let me know what you think. Thank you guys so much. If you want to like this or share it, whatever, you don't have to share it. I'm not going to put that on you. But if you want to like it, go in and rate us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That really helps. I'd really appreciate it because I'm just getting started. And I'm getting more on YouTube than the other stuff. But, hopefully it all kind of levels out, because we just having fun with this. We talking cards, and just having fun with this. Sports cards are dope, and so are you. Be good, have fun, and never stop collecting. Tyler, out. Mamba, out. Luca, out. Crazy. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.